Welcome to the College Blueprint, the show that guides you through the complex world of college admissions. My name is Luke Wilson, and today we will be discussing academics when selecting colleges. Instead of looking at specific schools for this episode, we're going to do overarching ideas that most schools fall under. The first factor to consider when selecting a school based on academics is, does it have your major? While it's a lot to ask someone going into college what they want to do for the rest of their lives, it's always a good idea to make a list of the top 3 choices. Your first choice should be the primary one based on what you've accomplished. Say you did robotics, well, engineering would probably be your number 1 choice. Say you enjoyed yearbook, photography maybe. It's all about finding what you've enjoyed in the past and selecting those 3 ideas based off of them. And you want to rank these. Your first choice would be the one that you're going to go in and study for the first few years. Your second and third choices are backups that you're interested in. Now that you've decided on your first, second, and third choices for majors and fields you want to pursue, then you need to find a school that has a strong program in your primary choice and also offers programs in your secondary and tertiary choices. This ensures that whatever school you go to not only has a strong program in the major you're interested in, but it also has both of your backups, meaning that if you find out you don't like your primary major, you have options to switch it. For example, if you're interested in studying engineering and then economics and political science are your 2 backup categories, Ohio State would be a good option because it has a strong program in all 3. For students who aren't sure what to do, most schools offer some sort of exploratory program where students will spend a semester in an overarching field looking at all the different options within it. At the University of Dayton for engineering students, if a student knows they want to do engineering but not which type, the first semester of every engineering student's curriculum is dedicated to classes that show what each engineer does in hands-on experience in all those fields. So you can figure out, chemical engineer is not for me, but a mechanical engineer is, or vice versa. Most schools have a program like this, and you aren't bound once you apply. Most schools will let you switch, although it is important to note that some schools will not let you switch colleges, only majors within the college. The second factor to consider is how rigorous the school is in terms of coursework. This varies from school to school. Top-end institutions such as the Ivy League or the public Ivies do tend to be much more academically rigorous, meaning you're going to be spending much more time on your schoolwork, which means less time to hang out with friends, join clubs, or do other activities on campus. However, it also depends heavily on your major. An engineering major is going to be studying much more than a communications major. So these factors can vary wildly, but it is an important thing to keep in mind that some schools have a more academically based curriculum and others are more centered around campus life. It's up to you to decide the balance you want between the 2. Mentioned a lot on this series has been class size, and this is our third factor to consider when talking about academics. A smaller institution, often a private one, has a much smaller class size taught by the faculty, while a larger, most often are not public school, will have large lecture halls with discussion groups taught by teacher aides. Every school's got their own average class size, and every school will have a large lecture, but some schools will only have a handful, while for other schools the majority of their classes might be in this format. And then the final factor you should consider when discussing the academics of a certain school is their approach to learning. Some schools are much more theory focused, where you learn from textbooks in the classroom and other such things, whereas some schools are more hands-on, where you actually go out and apply what you learn. These schools often have you completing research and work outside of the classroom, demonstrating the skills that you learn in it, whereas others have you spending more time in the classroom. The other thing you need to consider when talking about instruction method is the curriculum. This varies from major to major, but some schools allow you to jump right into your major, taking classes at the very beginning, giving you a few extra years to decide if you don't want to do it or not. Others make you do 2 years of general education before you're even allowed to touch any classes for your major. It all depends on the school that you go to. Thanks for joining us on the College Blueprint. We'll return with more insights to guide you on the college admissions process.